We recently sailed to Alaska on board Norwegian Encore, and this cruise line might not be for everyone. We're gonna do a full ship tour as well as tell you all the pros, cons, tips, and tricks. So bear with us as we give you our honest opinion of Norwegian Encore. Boarding Encore was simple, but the wait to board was kind of hectic. When you check in, they give you this piece of laminated paper with your boarding number on it, and they call you by groups. We checked in, got our boarding group number, and sat down at 10 a.m. 27 minutes later, at 10:27, this is how packed it got. They ended up running out of room right before our group got called to board at 10:43. So be ready to stand or not be able to all sit together if you have a large group or later boarding number. To start this ship tour, we are dropping down to Deck 5. Forward is all staterooms, and Deck 5 mid and aft consist of children's areas like Guppies, Splash Academy, Entourage, and a video arcade. Deck 6 forward is the bottom level of the Encore Theater, but we're going to show you that up on Deck 7. Just behind that is Q Texas Smokehouse. This specialty dining venue offers mouth-watering barbecue. You can also enjoy live music in a modern Western-style environment. Over on starboard side is the library, card room, meeting rooms, and the photo studio. Moving on to midship is the atrium. On port side, you'll find guest services. This area, like any other ship, was incredibly busy and honestly really slow. On starboard side is the atrium bar, which was so busy that people would stand in between the seats just to try to get a drink. On port side, just behind guest services, you can find Next Cruise and Starbucks. The next venue is a very important one. On port side is the social comedy and nightclub. Not only does this place provide entertainment both day and night, but on boarding day, it's probably one of the first places you want to go. There are a few places you need to visit as soon as you get on the ship, so stay tuned for later in this video where we explain everything you need to do first. On starboard side is Teppanyaki, which is a specialty dining restaurant. Moving aft are two main dining restaurants, Taste and Savor. Both restaurants are very similar, but they split them up to give more of an intimate setting during eating times versus having a huge dining room with thousands of people seated in one area. All the food on Norwegian is incredible, but sometimes the service falls short, making your experience not as enjoyable. The first example of that would be, we ate at Taste one day for breakfast as a group of 5 adults and 1 baby. Myself, along with 3 others, ordered Eggs Benedict, and the last person ordered waffles and French toast. Keep in mind, we did all order at the same time. 1 Eggs Benedict along with a waffle and French toast came out, and roughly 10 to 12 minutes went by before we asked our server about our missing dishes. They went and checked and said that there was some type of issue they were having in the kitchen and they were working to resolve it as quickly as possible. To make a long story short, we ended up waiting 40 minutes just to get our Eggs Benedict. Meanwhile, other tables that showed up after us ordered Eggs Benedict and got it before us. Right in between Taste and Savor is Mixed Bar. Up on Deck 7 forward is the entrance to the Encore Theater, where you can enjoy Broadway-style musical entertainment, dance, comedy, game shows, and so much more. To us, personally, we think the shows here were about a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Most of them weren't anything too impressive, but still worth going to see. Just outside the theater is the box office. Stay tuned for later in this video where we tell you why this place is so important. Moving aft is one of our favorite places to grab a bite to eat and a drink, the local bar and grill. This is a venue that is open 24 hours a day. We found ourselves here every time we wanted a late night snack, a quick drink, or just someplace to hang out when we were bored. Plus, if you enjoy people watching, the bar area looking over the atrium is the perfect place to sit. The menu here is minimal and the same just about every day, but all of the food options are packed with flavor. Here are some of the dishes that we got while eating at the local bar and grill. The local also has this small arcade area for you to spend some extra money while on board. On Deck 7 is also the Encore Casino. This casino is definitely in the top 5 largest at-sea casinos that we have been in. The casino, like every other ship, does have a bar in it, and this one is called Skyline Bar. The majority of the casino is non-smoking, but you do have a closed-off smoking section here behind these doors. The smell of smoke does occasionally flow into the rest of the casino because the doors are open so often, but it's very minimal. The casino may not look like much right now, but it gets bigger. The casino flows into this area that opens up to have a view of the deck below and above you. All the way aft on Deck 7 is the Manhattan Room, which is a main dining room on board Encore. This main dining room is absolutely stunning. The large windows all around the room give it a more open and elegant feeling. Plus, you can enjoy a beautiful view during your meal. A little tip, however, is if you're dining during sunset, some of the window curtains are broken and don't close so it can get bright. Other than that, the food and service was exceptional. Deck 8 forward is all staterooms, so forward port side is the District Brewhouse. The District Brewhouse is a venue filled with entertainment, beautiful views, and over 50 different types of beer to choose from. From incredible level of beers to live music and even a photo booth, the District Brewhouse offers it all. And even the staff here will tell you what happens in the district stays in the district. Jumping over to starboard side is Food Republic. This is a specialty dining venue on board that offers delicious Asian Latin fusion cuisine. They have dishes here that are so large that they're meant to share with other people. Portside midship is Onda, which is a specialty dining restaurant inspired by Italian cuisine. This venue brings elegance and delicious food into one. Just next to Onda is the Cellars Wine Bar. Here you can join the wine and cheese pairing or test your wine IQ at the tasting table. If you ever drink wine by Michael Mondavi, then you'll find this place a little familiar since it is a Michael Mondavi family wine bar. Starboard side is the Cavern Club, or better known as the legendary Liverpool Club, where you can watch the Beatles cover band perform live. Just after the Cavern Club is Malting's Whiskey Bar. This bar offers an international variety of spirits, so you can sip your way around the world without ever having to leave the comfort of your seat. Outside, next to Malting's Whiskey Bar, is what we consider by far the best bar on board. Not only were the bartenders incredible in every aspect, but this bar offers views that are intoxicating. A specific bartender here immediately became our favorite, so shout out to Lawrence, who also calls himself the Doctor. In no way, shape, or form is he an actual doctor. However, the drinks he makes you will be sure to help with whatever you may have going on. You can ask him for just about anything and he knows how to make it and always puts on a show. If you ever find yourself on board Norwegian Encore, find Lawrence the Doctor, do us a favor, and start singing the chorus to Na Na Hey Hey Kiss Him Goodbye and tell him SoFlo Travel sent you. Outside, on the waterfront, is the Humidor Cigar Lounge. This lounge does sell cigars, or you can bring your own if you have a preference. The atmosphere in here is so relaxing, making it the perfect place to enjoy a cigar and some scotch. Keep in mind, this area is for cigars only, so you are not allowed to smoke cigarettes or vapes in here. Back inside and jumping over to port is Sugarcane Mojito Bar. Here you can enjoy some live music and a wide variety of fun drink options to choose from. Deck 8 Midship is where you can do all your necessary and unnecessary shopping at Tradewinds. There are so many stores packed in this area that there was constantly traffic trying to go from one end of the ship to the other. Also in Tradewinds, you'll find the photo gallery where you can purchase physical or digital copies of any photo you took on board. Starboard side, there is another specialty dining venue on board, Palomar. This is Norwegian's first ever Mediterranean restaurant. They offer dishes from both land and sea that are truly mouth-watering. The intimate setting here also makes for an incredible dining experience. On starboard side, they have the bake shop and gelato where you can indulge your sweet tooth. All the way aft on deck 8 is the A-List Bar and Cagney's Steakhouse. You do not need a reservation at Cagney's to go to the A-List Bar, you can simply walk in. As far as Cagney's Steakhouse goes, the food was incredible, but yet again, this is another venue that the service fell short. We dined here as a group of 8 adults and 1 baby, and like I mentioned, the food was fantastic, but it took way too long to get anything from our server. The appetizers came out and got cleaned up before any of the drinks showed up. We then asked our server about it and he assured us that it was on the way. Eventually, it did show up right before the main dish. Naturally, some of us finished our glass and wanted another one, but our server was nowhere to be found. This was the longest dinner we had all week on board Encore. We sat here for just over 2 hours, which is really long dinner and kind of inconvenient if you had something planned after. On deck 8, all the way around, you have the waterfront where you can enjoy beautiful views and fresh ocean air. If you're someone who enjoys going for strolls throughout the day, this is the perfect place to do it. It took us about 8 minutes to walk the entire waterfront. On our sailing, it was so cold that this space was barely utilized other than when we were in Glacier Bay. Moving up, decks 9 through 15 are all staterooms with the exception of the Studio Lounge on deck 11, the Medical Center on deck 13, and the Observation Lounge on deck 15. The Observation Lounge is massive. Here you can get small bites to eat, a drink, a calm environment, and breathtaking views out of the floor-to-ceiling windows. Keep in mind, if you're sailing in Alaska on Glacier Bay Day, this is the most popular spot. There were passengers literally sleeping here overnight to get a front row spot of the glaciers. Going back to staterooms, we did not record ours simply because we were not happy with it. Stay with us until the end of the video where we go into full detail of why. Deck 16 forward is the garden cafe, also known as the buffet on board. Mid on deck 16 is the pool deck, which consists of 2 smaller pools and lots of lounge area. Also, shout out to our friend, it was his 31st birthday and he was having the best time I have ever seen someone have on a cruise.
Woo! 31st birthday today.
Portside on the pool deck is Surf Bar, where you can find way too many drink options to choose from. Then, diagonal to that on starboard side is Waves Bar. At either of these bars, you can grab your favorite drinks and hang out with new friends. Also, next to Waves Bar, there is a smoking section. On port side is the Kids Aqua Park, and on starboard side is the ending to Ocean Loops. On our sailing, these were obviously not being utilized much since we were in Alaska and it was freezing, but we did see a few brave ones try them out. Starboard aft on deck 18, there is a beauty salon and a barber shop. Over on port side is Pulse Fitness Center. The fitness center has lots of machines, personal trainers, and even a separate room if you want to be away from others and do more of a personal workout. All the way aft on deck 16 is the Mandara Spa that offers so many services. If you're on board, we would highly recommend getting the thermal spa access and enjoying it while in Alaska. We got a thermal day pass on a port day and it was completely empty. There were maybe 4 other passengers with us, so we got to use every service we wanted in the thermal area. Deck 17 forward is all Haven access only, so deck 17 midship, you'll find 4 hot tubs, the aqua racer, and a jogging track. Starboard aft is the American Diner. This 50s style diner has a large section of comfort foods and offers the perfect outdoor seating area. Even though this venue is outdoors, there was always a wait to be seated because it was so popular. We highly recommend eating here. Over on port side is Le Bistro, which is a French specialty dining venue. The food here exceeded our expectations and is a venue we will say you should not miss. All the way aft is the Galaxy Pavilion. This area is filled with an escape room, VR experiences, simulation rides, and so much more. Everything here is an extra charge, but well worth the money. Deck 18 forward is Haven access only, so aft on deck 18 is the Encore Speedway. This activity is of course an extra charge, but something we definitely recommend doing. All the way aft is Spice H2O, which is an adults only area. On our sailing, this area majority of the time was closed due to weather. You could still walk back there and explore, but the bar and hot tubs were off limits. And the pool was actually not filled with water. Deck 19 and 20 consist of Haven access only in the upper level to the Encore Speedway. There are so many different pros, cons, and tips that we need to share for the ship, so bear with us while we go through it all. The second you step on board, there are 2 things that you need to do immediately. In whichever order you choose, you need to visit the box office and Social Comedy and Nightclub. Social Comedy and Nightclub is where you're going to reserve your specialty dining if you haven't already, or you can change your dining venue or time. The next venue is the box office, which is where you're going to reserve your shows for the rest of your cruise. This video is of the line as soon as we boarded. You do board right next to this, so this was the first place that most people went. Shows do fill up very quickly, so try and get this done as soon as possible. Make sure you visit both of these venues right away to make sure your cruise experience includes everything that this ship has to offer. Between pros and cons, let's start with the negative and then go positive. The hallways on Encore were pretty tight, especially on boarding day with all the luggages in the way. It's almost impossible for 2 people to walk by each other. Speaking of luggages in the way, this clip is where our luggage was left versus where our stateroom was. They told everyone that their luggages were at their stateroom, but a lot of passengers kept telling us that all of the bags were at the front of the ship. Our next con was something we mentioned earlier in the video, and that was we did not record our stateroom because we were not happy at all. When they announced staterooms were ready, we made our way to ours about 40 minutes later, and almost immediately we were upset. Our bathroom toilet was clogged and overflowing with stuff still in the toilet, and all of the glasses in our stateroom looked like this. I found our room attendant and informed him of the issues very nicely, and his response was so rude that I was actually shocked. I get that they work tirelessly day and night, but I was just informing him of the issues in our room since he is our attendant. They ended up fixing the toilet and replacing the glasses, which was very much appreciated. The next issue we had with our stateroom is that our sink consistently made a noise throughout our entire 7-night sailing. I'll let the video play after I explain, but there was consistently a dripping noise even if we hadn't used the sink for hours. And on top of that, if we closed the drain, it sounded like birds chirping. Here's a video of the sink now. It was loud enough that for 7 nights, we either heard water dripping or birds chirping. Adding to the list of cons, the next one is that if you purchase a water package on board Norwegian, you will be receiving canned water. This might not seem like a big deal to everyone, but if you don't like the thought of your water sitting open in your room, then we highly suggest bringing a water bottle that you can refill. Another big con on Norwegian is their internet package is terrible. You only get 150 minutes of connection if you don't pay for more. Once you connect, your 150 minutes obviously starts. What they don't tell you is that you need to log out every single time you're done using the internet. You can't just close it. Being our first time on Norwegian, we obviously did not know this, so we ran out of our internet so fast. Our last con would be weather affecting excursions. I know this is not something that Norwegian can control, but we felt that they could have done slightly better with the compensations. We did the White Pass Scenic Railway Tour in Skagway. The night before, we got this letter in our stateroom. Feel free to pause and read if you'd like. Basically, the letter stated that because of the weather, we would only be going about halfway through the viewing points and then turning around, and that they would be giving us a 15% discount on the excursion based on the price we originally paid. We were supposed to go to this point here and then turn around and come back. Instead, we went to this point here and turned around. Everyone who was on this excursion was upset with only getting a 15% refund. On to the pros for the ship. One small pro is that they have this little vending machine, so if you ever need anything it has, you can easily access it for an extra charge. The next pro is that in Glacier Bay, while we're freezing, they brought out fresh salmon chowder to everyone, and you could have as much as you wanted for free, and it was delicious. On top of this pro, Glacier Bay itself is mind-blowing to experience. We highly recommend taking a cruise here if you can. And the last pro of this ship is that there are so many ways to get free alcohol. Attending art auctions, and our favorite was right before the show Choir of Men. They actually invite guests on stage to drink beer with them. Keep in mind, if you do get up, you will probably lose your seat, so have one person go instead of the whole group. As far as tips go, one of the simplest ones would be that on the floors on stateroom levels, they have fish on the carpet to indicate which direction you're going. In this video, we were walking aft. The fish swim towards the front of the ship, so if you're ever lost, just look down. The next big tip we notice is that if you're ever lost, just look at an elevator. Round buttons indicate you're aft on the ship, while square buttons indicate you're forward on the ship. We genuinely had wholesome experiences on this cruise because of the family we had with us and all the friends we made while we were at our favorite bar. Norwegian Encore might have its cons, but we're willing to try NCL again, so stay tuned for our second time around. And if you enjoy this content, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell. Also, if you want to know our travel must-haves, click the link in the description.